in the States, it was always go and grind time. You wake up and it's freezing cold, or like there's no daylight half the year. And I'm a single mom. So I would work, come back home, cook, clean, pick up my son, drop off my son. Like it was non-stop. So many homeless people like begging for money. Here, it's like they will rather sell fruit than beg you for money. I mean, the only thing that bothers me about traffic here is if it's green light for us to walk, you better not drive across that. Cambodia is actually not that cheap. And when you go to a certain restaurant, it's like they don't want to give you service, but they expect tip. I feel safer here than when I was in California. I see people just straight up shooting themselves in public. Here, it's like they don't even want to take tips. The people here are so warm. Cambodia, I love the people, I love the weather. There's just so many things to appreciate here. And this is the most happy and healthy I've ever been.
Meet Sovan, a Khmer American who moved to the United States at the age of 10. After spending 20 years in the US, she has recently returned back to Cambodia. Today she shares her stories, why she moved back to Cambodia, life here, and the struggles.
I was born in Khmer, and I moved with my mom and my stepdad at the time. She got remarried, and we moved from here. Yeah, so that was back in 2004, and I stayed in Washington ever since then. So I lived there for 20 years.
Is it your first time coming to Cambodia after you left?
I think this is my fourth time since I left. So I recently came here, not recent, it was about back in October of 2022, I came here for my grandpa's funeral. And I was here for like about a month, and then I went back. So
This time, are you here to stay, or are you planning to move back later?
I mean, honestly, so I just got back from Santa Barbara, Montecito area in California a few weeks ago. And I was there just for a little, I think it was just about a week. And when I got back here, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be back here, because something about like Khmer, like the people here are so warm, and the slow life, I really enjoy like the quality of my life here since I got here. So I don't know. I feel like I'm very blessed to be able to have the freedom to just even go back and forth. I don't have a timeline of when I would move out of here. Like right now, I enjoy my freedom here. And also, the reason why I moved back here after my grandpa's funeral is that my son and I arrived at the hospital bed just before my grandpa was like gone, right? And he got to see his great-grandkid, and I realized that time is the most precious commodity. And I grew up not knowing my dad. So my mom and my dad got divorced when I was 3 months old. And I didn't have a relationship with him at all here. Like we were in Khmer, but I did not get to see him, probably maybe once before I left. But I didn't have a relationship with him. My grandpa on his side of the family passed away while I was in the States. So I never got to say goodbye. And I just realized that, you know, I need to build a life where I'm financially stable enough to have the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. So this was always been my goal the last couple of years. And I waited for my business to stable enough to where I realized that, hey, we can go to Cambodia and not compromise our Western lifestyle, because I want to be able to build that relationship with my dad and my grandma and have my son build a relationship with them as well. So that's why I moved here, because I think during my grandpa's funeral, it was like a light bulb in my head that I'm like, okay, I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to live with regret of not knowing this other side of the family. And that's why we made the decision to come here.
Are you currently working, or?
Well, my business is called Accelerate Builder. I own my own marketing agency. All of my clients are back in this state. And sometimes I'll work few hours in terms of like communication, weekly check-in with my clients. And I usually start my day around 3 a.m. and I'll work until 7:30, and then I'm done for the day. And then sometimes I'll do a little bit of like the fulfillment throughout the day. But other than that, I utilize that my free time to actually take care of my mental health, because that's something that a lot of people don't have the freedom to do back in the States. You know, we live in like a capitalism world. It's always like go, 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 and always like more, 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 right? And I think being here, just like having that freedom to take a walk in the morning, make my coffee, watch the sunrise, waking up and like you see sunshine every day. I came from Seattle, Washington, and if you know Seattle, you know it's a rainy state. Especially during this time of the year, you wake up and it's just gloomy, rainy, cold all day long. And coming here, the weather affects your mood a lot. And I think most people don't realize it here in Khmer. But if you go to a different part of the world, you wake up and it's freezing cold, or like there's no daylight half the year. So I think being here, we're very blessed. I love Cambodia. I love the people. I love the weather. There's just so many things to appreciate here. And it makes me reflect on life. Like, what is life about? What is the most precious commodity, really? Is it money or is it time? And now that I'm here and I have my time back to do whatever I want with the people that I love, I feel like I'm so blessed. And I did not have this type of feeling when I was back in the States.
Been here for 6 months. Is it the longest that you ever been?
Yes, because my previous trip was only a month long, and that was my longest. Prior to that was 2 or 3 weeks, and then I went back. So this is the longest. And this is the most happy and healthy I've ever been in my life. Like, I am so happy in a sense where it's like different type of happiness. I think just being around love, freedom, it also heals me internally to like the things that I went through back in the States. So it's like a new era for me of like a different level of growth and getting to know myself internally, kind of like soul searching in a way. Like, I think being here is like it has allowed me to do that. When I was back in the States, it was always go and grind time, and I'm a single mom. So I would work and try to build my business, come back home, cook, clean, pick up my son, drop off my son. Like, it was nonstop. So I think since I've been here and I am finding that balance of when it's work, but I also need to give myself that time to work on me and heal myself. And that's what I've been doing since I got here.
What is it like raising kids here in Cambodia as a single mom?
The first thing is, oh, is his dad back in the States? And when I tell them, no, I don't have a husband, they're like, if you don't have a husband, how can you have a kid? That's no, that's literally like, they're so shocked. They're like, wait, so is your husband working? Is he back home? I'm like, no, I'm a single mom. And they're like, how are you a single mom? How do you have a kid? And I think the idea of so I think that's definitely not normalized in Cambodia, is being a single parent. Raising him here has been great because, like I said, back there, we don't have family, right? There's no sense of community or family or a healthy male role model for him to be around. It's just me and him living together. And on the weekends, he would go visit his dad. But here, I have my older cousin, younger cousin, and everyone in my family are so well raised. I love that about my family. We're so respectful. We're so loving. Even my young cousin, he is actually starting his own agency right now. I'm teaching him, and he's getting married. And his first thing is like, I need to provide. I want to do this. Like, and he's young, and he's, you know, in his early 20s, and just having that mindset, I really admire that. Or even my older cousin, you know, he takes care of his wife, very respectful, loving. It's just, I think I made a great decision by moving here and having my son being around these people that he can look up to and have a positive influence on him. So
Is there anything that you see in Cambodia that you never expect?
Oh yeah. So I see how like when I am on the Grab and I see people that are, doing whatever they need to do to make it. For example, if you're back in the States and specifically Seattle, there are so many homeless people like begging for money. Here, it's like they will rather sell fruit than beg you for money. You know what I mean? It's like the people here have that tenacity and that grit and like that still like working ethic that they will do whatever they need to do to survive, right? Or I'll talk to Grab and Pass App driver. They will work all day so that their wife can stay home and take care of the kids. To me, I was like, that's real man. That's a provider. And I think Americans' culture is lacking that right now. And when I come here, I was like, wow, this is refreshing to see. Like, men are being men. Like, men are providers here. And like, I really appreciate that about like my people. We are hard worker. We're dreamers. We are not complacent, and I love both countries, because America is full of opportunities where you go to make dreams happen. But America, we have such a good life. And I got this from, have you heard of Tony Robbins? Okay, I was listening to this interview by him today, and he said something that resonated with me so much. And he said that good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. And bad times create strong people. And strong people create good times. And you see that it's a history worldwide, right? Like when every time you go through a war, there's strong men that come out of it. Even if you even in Khmer, we have our own history, what happened during Pol Pot, right? Like my grandma lived through it and they thrive. My grandpa thrived after. My grandpa was a very strong, respectable man in Cambodia. And he went through that. And look how he came out. And he created a good time for the entire generation. So I am very blessed. But what Tony Robbins said, it's so true. So like for people that in Khmer that long for a good time, be careful, because when you're in that tough time, just like you mentioned, right? Like you started this during COVID. That was a hard time. And look what you created, right? It's like the growth happens when you're at the bottom. The growth happens during adversity. So every time you go through hard things, don't run away from it. Know that you can utilize that opportunity to level up, because without adversity, there is no opportunity for you to grow.
Do Cambodians see you as equal to them?
I don't know if they see me as equal. I think they see me as someone that having opportunities that they will never have. Like that's what I see. And it really breaks my heart because, for example, I'll ride tuk-tuk, right? And the driver recognized like my accent, and he's always like, "Are you Khmer? Where are you from?" And I tell them like I'm so Khmer, like I was born here. And the first thing they always say is that, "Oh, everybody in America is rich. Like, why do you want to come live here?" And like to me, listen, the grass is not always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And when I communicate with Khmer people, I have a hard time not relating. It breaks my heart because there is such a fixed mindset of lack, right? It's like a lot of people, when I talk to them, they feel like they're living in lack of opportunities, lack of wealth. And I truly believe that having abundance is a mindset. Like you don't need to leave Khmer to create a success lifestyle. And definition of success to me does not define by your education background, how much money you make, what kind of car you drive, how big your house is. Like these are external things, and I feel I feel for Khmer people because they don't like I said, the grass is not always greener. People always want what they don't have. But be careful what you wish for, right? Because there's no perfect paradise. If you're not grateful to be alive in Khmer, you're not going to be grateful if you get to live in America or not. It's a thinking. It's your mindset. In order to change your life, you need to change the way you think. And that starts within you. It's not with where you live. Does that make sense? So like when you wake up, like for me, for example, I don't have the things that I have in America. I don't have my car. I don't have the place that I used to live. But I am so much more happy. I wake up, I'm like, wow, the sun is up, because you don't even see the sun half the year in Seattle, and that makes you depressed. Like people are so depressed in Seattle and they don't even know it. But it's just waking up, the sunshine, the warm weather, the people, the ability for you to just get up and like, for example, I go buy the food downstairs and I forgot my money. And the lady is like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Like the Khmer people, like they're so trustworthy. They're so givers, like you don't have that kind of culture back in the States, right? And in the States, it's on average, people that work 9 to 5, there's no rest days. They live to pay bills. Is that really the life you want?
I know you've said a lot about your life here in Cambodia.
Yeah.
How living in Cambodia for 6 months changed you as a person?
Well, like I just mentioned, it made me a better person. It made me so grateful for what I have, because when I was back home, no matter how much money I make, there was never enough. I always wanted to make more. I always wanted to have a nicer car, to have a nicer place. It was chasing something that is not meant to fulfill you. It was like no purpose because there's no one to share it with. But having here, it's like my family is always calling me to come over for dinner, or even us just having meaningful conversation, getting coffee together, just relax, sit still, enjoy the moment. Like it makes me feel more wholesome. And even like my energy has gone up, because now I am filled with love. Like there's love everywhere I go. And I think love it's such a critical role, because no matter where you at, where you're from, what country you live in, the things that all of us human, we crave for: love, stability, health, and wealth, right? And wealth can mean different, like it can have different definitions according to what you think success and wealth is. But all of us are long for that. That's why you see rich and famous people, they commit suicide, they are on drugs, they are on their 3rd and 4th marriages. These things does not mean you're happy or you're success, right? It all comes back to love. And like, how are you making an impact to other people? How is your relation, like again, back to family and love and having a meaningful purpose. So for me, it's changed my life tremendously here.
You've mentioned a lot about good side you're living here in Cambodia, how you prefer it over US, and how life here is much easier for you. Do you have any struggles, living here, like any?
The only struggle everyone has struggle, right? For someone to say they don't have a problem, they're lying. I think my struggle now is really to kind of define my next purpose here. Like, what do I want to spend the next 2 years doing while I'm here that is bigger than myself, right? Because I think us American people coming here, we are very fortunate and blessed to be able to like live our life there, experience even like just having access to certain everyday product that we don't get here. And I think, I don't know if it's a struggle, but it's something that I've been contemplating on. Like, what can I do while I'm here that will help our people here? Like, I haven't figured out that answer yet, but I know it surrounds with helping other and adding values to Khmer people while I'm here.
Do you still have struggles, trying to adjust to the system here and the culture?
Yes, I think communication, and for me, I have a very blunt personality, right? Like if I see something, I'm just gonna say it. And if I don't like it, if I don't like it, I'm gonna say I don't like it. And I think Khmer people are very respectful, very loving, very kind. They don't like confrontations, and not that I like confrontations, but it's just if something's not right, it's not right. But they don't say it. If I say it, it's like, oh, why did you say that? I was like, well, why can't I say that? But that's the thing. It's like I think it's just my personality overall. I'm like very direct. Sometimes a little too directive, and not everyone receives that positively. So that's the story.
That's true because where I'm coming from, compared to where I'm coming from, it's like when you see something, maybe when you see something that is not, someone did something wrong to you, or someone did something that you don't like,
Yeah.
you just go to walk out to him or her. It's like, I don't like this. Don't do it next time.
Right.
But here, it's different. You know, and up to now, I'm still surprised. You know how people can go through the traffic, no shouting, no honking, but just to compare to where I'm coming from is
Yeah.
different because here they are super patient,
Yeah.
try to be slow and you know, but compared to where I'm coming from is like it's traffic, no one is fighting traffic, no
Yeah.
one is talking, no one is shouting, and anyhow you drive it here, no one will even blame you.
Yeah.
Back home is like when you drive anyhow, it's like you better go and drop that car. Are you a learner or stuff like that? And sometimes they'll be like arguing or fighting, stop the car and fight. So here's like a different.
Different, yeah. I mean, the only thing that bothers me about traffic here is, for example, I walk my son to school, right? And there's a crosswalk. Over there, it's like pedestrian have the right of way. If it's green light for us to walk, you better not drive cross that. Here, it's like me and my son are in the middle of the road, and like the car is like literally almost touching us, and I'm like looking at him, and I see other people like laughing at me. I was like, do you not see us?
Look,
I'm like, you better stop. Don't come any closer.
but here, they don't really care about all this. This is the part of life here.
Yeah, that's the thing that I have a hard time. Like, you asked me what I struggle with. That's what I struggle with every morning, okay? Like, now I'm just gonna walk. Like, you're gonna keep driving? Okay, I'm gonna keep walking. I'm not stopping for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you keep waiting, you can never cross or you can never do. So,
Exactly. So I was like,
when you go, they will slow down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think, anyways, my culture or the things that I experience in my country here is a little bit similar. So I don't have any kind of culture shock or culture difference here because only that here is a little bit chill compared to my country.
Yeah. Here is definitely very chill. People like to live in harmony for sure. Here, I love the service, like the service that you get even when you go to restaurants. Like, people are very attentive, like the staff at restaurants, versus back in the States, nobody wants to really work. And it's almost like I just got back recently, and when you go to a certain restaurant, it's like they don't want to give you service, but they expect tip. Here, it's like they don't even want to take tips. They're like, oh, no, it's okay. You overpaid, and then they'll give you your money back. So that's something that I really appreciate and love about our country too. There's so many things to love about Cambodia.
How is your Khmer? You can speak.
I can speak Khmer.
You forgot to introduce yourself in Khmer. At least I will.
Okay, so today, ជម្រាបសួរ ខ្ញុំឈ្មោះ Sovanmony, or my family ហៅខ្ញុំ ស្រីស្រស់ cause I'm prettyស្រស់. Can you speak Khmer?
Oh no.
Can you understand Khmer?
But a little bit.
Okay, a little bit. So I'm gonna try to speak Khmer then. So then, កើតនៅភ្នំពេញ and then because my grandpa raised me, we ទៅនៅបាត់ដំបង Have you heard of បាត់ដំបង? Okay, yeah. I lived in Battambang, and then I live in Swai. I think Patim Mian Chai is what they call it. Yeah. So I live in those two places, so 3 places total.
So you can say that your Khmer is quite good. You can communicate with it.
Yes, I can. But I mean, good or not, I don't know. I've been told that they can tell I'm not local, so.
Oh, yeah. You grew up with Asian community.
Yes, I did. Most of my friends are Asian. Actually, I have a lot of Khmer friends too that I grew up with. One of my best friends is Khmer, and I grew up eating Khmer food. So I only know how to cook Asian food. And I grew up like I make really good bahok, and I don't know if you like bahok, but my bahok is actually really good. And yeah, I know how to make like slagoko, slamachukrung. I only cook Asian food at home. And then on the weekend, we'll go out and get steak and pasta. But most of the time, I eat Asian food.
Is it like a Khmer food?
Yeah, it's my food. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because in Washington, there's a lot of Khmer communities. So there is Khmer groceries where you can actually go and get the herbs and brahok, fish sauce, all the ingredients that you need to like cook Khmer food at home.
How about the Khmer culture?
Khmer culture, what do you mean by Khmer culture?
Like you're growing up, do you learn about Cambodian culture, Khmer culture growing up?
That not so much. Not so much. Even because when I grew up here, we go to the temple, right? Over there, people don't really go to the temple unless it's like Khmer New Year or Pshumban and stuff like that. But I actually converted and I started going to church after I gave birth to my son. So, yeah.
Back then, you guys have like a Cambodian community that you're meeting.
No, not really. I mean, at least I didn't have that. But I did grow up with Khmer friends, and we grow up eating Khmer food. We don't really speak Khmer over there. Everyone speaks English, but that's just like as close as Khmer culture you get. Yeah.
How about now? You eat only Khmer food or more like a Western food?
Well, you definitely don't get good Western food. I mainly eat Khmer food, or sometimes we'll go out and we'll eat sushi. But my son missed the Western food though, so he misses like burgers and French fries. So I'll take him to get that on the weekend sometimes. But it works out for me because I always like Khmer food more than Western food, anyways.
That's great. What do you like? What do you like about living here?
What do I love about living here? I think
Okay, let me take back the question.
Okay.
What do you love the most about living in Cambodia?
the weather. I know it gets super hot, but the sun, like I get my mood gets affected really easily by the weather. If it's raining, if it's cold, I go depressed. But if I wake up to sunshine, I'm like, oh yes, sunshine, let's go. I can like go walk, I can run. I can feel like I can do anything when the sun is out. The sun has definitely made a huge impact on my life. And what else? Like I said, the sun, the people, my family, also having easier access to things. Like I don't know how to explain this. Let me try to give a good example. Like if you want a certain thing done, you can just order it and they will come and bring it to you and give you like full service. For example, if you order like a set of table, they deliver it and they assemble it for you. Like you can't get that kind of service back there for that price. So I think you have so much more options here than people realize. Does that make sense? Like you can. I don't think my lifestyle has really been compromised since I've been here. As a matter of fact, my quality of life has increased since I got here. Yeah.
Do you have any message for Khmer who lives abroad?
For Khmer who lives abroad that are thinking about either moving or going anywhere, I would say life is too short. Honestly, you should go and do whatever you want. But my realistic side would say that if you do want to come and live here if I were them. Like, this is just me, and this is what I did because I have a son, right? I can't just up and move. But for me, I'm biased, but I say you should create some type of income in order for you to come and live here. Because I think if you were to come without a plan and without a purpose, you might end up drifting. And like, I don't think that's a way to live. And if you were to come here, especially if you don't have a high education background, you're not going to be able to like go and get a decent job. Like, a lot of people struggle here in terms of like the opportunities like we discussed, right? So like, that's the downside. So I say create something, generate an income that's stable enough consistently where you can come and live your lifestyle here. I mean, I don't know if that's applicable for everyone, but that's what I've done and that's what I would recommend. Because if you move here, you don't have a plan and you're not financially stable, you're going to be depressed. No one is happy when they're broke, right? So like, you need to have a definite plan and a purpose and execute that, because freedom, first of all, to move around, you're chasing freedom. Freedom is not free. So sacrifice and commit 6 months to a year, build something for yourself so that you can start enjoying your freedom from the work that you put in.
What do you think about let me just say the safeness here in Cambodia?
I feel pretty safe. Honestly, I feel safer here than when I was in California. I was walking toward this store. It's called Target. I'm sure they know Target. But I was in California, Santa Monica. And when I went into Target, right, half of the products were like locked up. I couldn't have access to it. And when I came out, there's these guys like just sitting there, looked very skeptical. I was like watching over my back. Here, when I walk around at night, it's peaceful. I don't feel scared. Like, I feel like, especially where I live now, I mean, it's pretty safe. I don't really see any homeless people as much as there are in California or Washington. I don't see needles laying around from people using drugs because I see that out there, right? I see people just straight up shooting themselves in public over there. I haven't seen that here yet. Probably like once or twice, you know? But over there, if you go to downtown Seattle, it's every corner. There's tents everywhere in Seattle. You don't see that here. And that was surprising to me, because a lot of people look at Khmer like, you know, third world country, whatever it is, but there are parts of Khmer that are way nicer than America. Cleaner as well. There are parts of America that looks worse than Cambodia. And that might be surprising to people, but that's the fact, right? So that's why, like, you don't know what you don't know. So I suggest you travel and leave where you're comfortable, because if you don't, you don't know what's available out there, you know? And I think being here, like I said, it shifts your perspective. Things are not always what it seems. And you don't know that unless you actually go out there and find out for yourself.
How about the cost of living here?
The cost of living here, my rent is obviously cheaper, but Cambodia is actually not that cheap. Okay, this is the surprising part, okay? So if you want to live here and you don't want to sacrifice your Western lifestyle and you want to still purchase certain products, like I personally use Sensodyne toothpaste, and a box of it came in like 5-pack, and I was at the superstore. A box of it was $45. I was like, are you kidding me? And over there, we have Costco, right? Costco is like macro here. So we buy things in bulk. And then they have their brand. It's called Kirkland. So I came across Kirkland paper towel, and I was so excited because in Khmer we use gada, where it's so thin, right? The paper towel, it's like one piece of thing. So then when I go out to eat, I use a lot of napkins. So I would use like almost the whole bag. But anyways, I love my American products. But paper towel, Kirkland brand, one roll I think was like $6. My air freshener, the Febreze brand, that was $15. Back in the States is $2-3. So yeah, I mean, it's not that cheap living. It could be. I think the thing here is like you have options, right? Like if you go street food, you can spend like maybe $4 or $5. Or if you want to go eat out, you can spend $50 or $100 or even like $200-300. Like the thing about Cambodia is that there's so many options. You can live however you want to live.
And it's all your choice.
It's all your choice. Yeah. It's like options is like limitless, right? Yeah. Yeah. Versus there, it's like there's a standard, right? Like, you know, if you're going to go out to eat, typically, like if it's just for two people, probably like $50 to $100, right? Like that's the standard. Here, it's like if you want to go eat street food, you know you can probably get full and eat great food for maybe $5, right? So
Yeah, you're right. No, all the people that I interviewed, that like 90 to 80% of them say the same thing. But
yeah.
in total, in general, it all depends on you in
Yeah,
what
it
kind
all
of
depends.
life you want to live. If you are earning 1,000 a month, or you want to live above that amount, it's up to you.
Yeah.
That is where you are. So if you are earning less, you live less.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's optional.
It's yep.
It depends on you. So that is it.
Yep. Depends on you.
How often do you travel around Cambodia?
So since I got here in April, I went to Battambang recently for what is that holiday? Pyeong Bun.
Cambodia is actually, I think, yeah, you're right.
Okay, I went Pyeong Bun to Battambang, and then I got to take my son to what's that island? Koh Rong.
Correct.
Yeah, I went to Koh Rong. I've been to Kapot.
Comport and cat.
Yeah, and Kai. Yeah, yeah, Kapot and Kai. And what else?
Samay?
Oh yeah. Siem Reap was the first thing because I got here in
course.
April, right? So then it was Khmer New Year, so I went to Siem Reap. Yeah, that was fun.
How was the commanding experience?
It was fun. I had a blast. I was just out there shooting with a gun until like maybe 12.
Was it your first commanding year ever?
Yeah. Since I left, that was my first time.
Did you experience it before you left, or you
Oh
never?
yeah. No, I experienced it before I left.
Before you left
Uh-huh.
to the US, was it as fun as it is now?
Yeah, I would say so. Or I think back then it was more fun. Maybe because I was a kid, you know, so we got to do a lot of games. And there's this game, I don't see them play it now. I don't even know what it is, but it looks like a rock, right? And then you put it on your ankle, like you put it on your knees, and like people would like smash it with the rock. I don't know that game, but it was really fun. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Goal. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I don't know, but it was really fun. We would play cards all day. So that was fun. I went to Angkor Wat, but I think because it was so hot in April and I had my son, we only got to walk around for maybe 10 minutes and then we got back in the car. So I didn't get to explore much, but the people in Siem Reap, oh, so kind, bless their hearts. They're so kind, like their service. You can spend $25 a night at a hotel, super nice. Right when you get out of the car, they're like waiting to carry your bag for you. The people, and Siem Reap is so safe.
I totally agree with you because I've been there and I've experienced it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Super nice people, you know. But yeah,
Would you live there?
maybe because of what I'm doing now. So because I need more people, I need all my works and the activities is here. But if I have the same opportunity
Yeah.
as here than I will. But anyways, my favorite city is Cape. I love Cape
Oh, you do?
because I love nature. So I think I love Cape.
Oh, okay.
Most Cape and yeah, Cape.
You like, so are you like a beach person then?
No, more of nature.
Nature, but I mean, Kaip is just a beach, right? Or like Kapod, it's, I mean, there's
Port,
trees,
yeah,
there's
yes,
lake
nature.
there.
I like adventure.
You like
It's kind of a cool.
Yeah.
Maybe because I miss it. I miss it back home because back my province where my village.
Yeah.
We have a lot of nature stuff, and I grew up there somehow. So coming to Cambodia, not being there quite long time, so
Yeah.
kind of miss it, and I love it when it comes to nature.
I feel like something about being in the nature around trees, water, it kind of, it gives you this energy in a different way, right?
It's like if it's not because I have to, keep meeting people or doing my work here,
Yeah.
I would, just drive to Cape every weekend.
Really?
Every weekend.
Oh,
Or
wow.
assuming it's like 1 hour drive from here to there, I will go every weekend. Just take my stuff. I'm done with my interview for the week.
Yeah.
Take my laptop, take everything, move.
Oh, that's so cool.
Then
Yeah.
you from there edit my videos and do my stuff there. So, but it's kind of maybe far driving there, coming back is kind of stress somehow.
I mean, if you like nature, have you been to, what is that place with a lot of mountains? No, not Galen.
Mondokiri.
Yes, Mandokit.
I have not been there, but
Okay.
it's on my list. It's on my
Okay.
list. Where maybe one day, but now activities like much for me.
What kind of activities do you like? Do you like to go camping? Are you more like a water person?
Camping, water,
Okay,
but yeah, I think I love more camping. But
camping.
what also? I think 50-50.
Yeah.
Both of them.
What is something in Cambodia that you appreciate that you can't get in your country?
I think how peaceful.
Peace, okay.
Yeah, it's super peaceful. I love it. I love how peaceful it is.
Yeah, I agree.
People mind their business. As long as you don't find them, they will not find you. And of course, they want smile, and I can get this at home.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
What is your life growing up as a Khmer in US?
I grew up I would say very privileged and very blessed with my family. Like I said, my grandpa put in a lot of work to give us all a great lifestyle. If it wasn't for my grandpa, I wouldn't have made it to America. So when my mom got married, we failed the interview. And at that time, we didn't have our own embassy. Is it embassy? Embassy? Yeah, embassy. It was back in Thailand, right? I actually failed the interview 3 times. And this is such a cool story to tell because I still remember it. It was like traumatizing. My mom and I had split apart. She was living in the US and I was here. And at that time, we had been separated for 3 or 4 years at the time. And during that 3rd time, I was like crying and my mom was crying and we called my grandpa. And luckily, he was also in Thailand with us. He showed up like maybe an hour later, was speaking in French, did whatever he did, I don't know. But then boom, they stamped the paper and I was like, off we go. So that was a really cool experience. But I grew up very blessed, and honestly, my life changed a lot when I moved to the States because I realized how good we had it here. And I got lucky to be born under my grandpa. We didn't have any struggles. And then all of my struggles actually came when I moved to Americans. I realized like, wow, this is a different lifestyle. We were used to, I mean, I don't want to sound, arrogant or whatever, but here, before I left, we grew up with so many people with my grandpa. Like, he had bodyguards, we had nannies, we had drivers, and none of my uncles and aunt, like his kids, none of them are employable, okay? Like, they're just different. And when I moved to back in the States, you know, my mom was struggling, and I am so proud of my mom because she never told my grandpa how our life was in the States. She was cleaning bathrooms, you know, she started learning how to cook and clean. She would walk to work in the snow. We were on food stamp. And like, I didn't realize it then because I was too young to appreciate my mom. But man, my mom sacrificed a lot. And then as I get older, I think because of the life I had here, and I thank God for everything because everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I think if I didn't grow up the way I grew up with not the opportunity, but the lifestyle that my grandpa given me, I don't think I would have a big dream living there, right? Because when we were struggling, I was like, this is not the life I'm used to. So I need to be able to like get whatever I want again. So then at a young age, 14, I started working. I was working as a telemarketer, and at 16, I saved up enough to buy my own car. At 18, I moved out, and I was always intrigued with like self-growth, being able to like start my own business. And I think it all starts back to like my childhood, the way I was raised. And like my grandpa set the standard for sure. So yeah, like life here and there is really different, but I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. I'm super grateful for my mom, the strength that she had, you know, her abilities to keep pushing through. When we moved, it was just me and my mom and my stepdad. Like, she left all of her families here. She was living in a different country, not knowing how to drive, not knowing how to speak the language, but she did it. You know, we always had a roof over our heads. And because of that, like, because of everything that we went through made me who I am today. I mean, everything, like, so I had my son when I was 21. And I made a lot of mistakes when I was young, right? So at 21, I got out of an abusive relationship, and I had to start all over. So at that time, I had no car. I probably had about like $20 in the bank, and I was waitressing, and I would work 2 jobs, and I was living off the government. Like, I was on food stamp, and the government would help pay for my son's childcare so that I could go to work. And again, you know, I had so many dreams, and I realized like my life has to be more than this, right? So then I was always into reading books, even in high school, and I hated school, but something about like self-growth, I was always intrigued by it. So after I had my son start all over, I was pretty traumatized from the abusive relationship that I got out of. And living under my mom's at that time, we didn't have the best relationship. It was pretty toxic too, because my mom, like I said, she was also on food stamp. We were broke, trying to make ends meet. And then I came across this opportunity. It was like LML, which stands for multi-level marketing, where you recruit someone under you, you recruit that other person, right? And it requires you to like go talk to people. And at this time, I had no experience in communication, in business, like nothing. Like, all I knew was being a waitress at the casino. Like, that's all I knew. So I would take the metro bus with my son. And in Seattle, like I said, it's rainy and cold most of the time. So I would like push him in a stroller, and I would go up to people. I'm like, hi, my name is Sovan, blah, blah, blah. And I would like talk to them and see, like, was sharing the message about the opportunity for like the MLM at the time. And I realized like that was the beginning of it all, because when I came back home, I would be begging, like literally on my knees, and I was praying to God, and I was like, this is not the life for me. I was like, I don't know what I need to do, but God, please bless me with opportunities that I need. Bless me with the people that's going to help me get there. And no, it's like I'm crying because of joy. Because at that moment, like I look back in my 20s, my proudest moment is when I'm there at the bottom and like I didn't give up. Like I was full of dreams and ideas, and I was full of like humility, you know? And I think looking back now, you have so much control of your life. You are just one decision away, one person away, one opportunity away from making a 360 of like whatever your circumstances, right? The purpose of that story is that the lesson that I learned, and during that season, the lesson is that nothing is as bad or as good as it seems, right? And every adversity that you go through, an opportunity for you to grow. Like I said before, you cannot grow and enter a new horizon without facing these challenges. And so I am so thankful that I went through that at such an early age and gained the experience and the wisdom, right? And I always say this when I pray. It's like, you can take away the money, the material things. Don't take away my faith with God. Don't take away my wisdom. Don't take away my strength. Because if I have all these things, no matter what life goes through, I will always bounce back. You know what I mean?